they have these grooves in them, so you could see that there's these little ripples. So these are our special edge. I don't know if you remember, kind of, it's a different edge when you bought them.
It's been a while, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, I kind of remember.
What happens is they dull very slowly, so what I'm going to do is kind of go on the inside here and kind of smooth them out just by going up and down a few times. And then what happens is when you use these on a plate or a cutting board, Michael, they slowly dull, or they get these little bumps called burrs. It just kind of curls over, so I'm going to kind of smooth and file those down so there'll be less friction, so you notice that kind of really smoothness of a cut. What's cool about Cutco is it really never dulls like worse than in, like other knives. Like, I mean, it's still the sharpest knife in the kitchen, but after time, and you've had these for almost 7 years, you'll notice that they don't have that original, razor sharp cut. You ever cut yourself, or?
No, I haven't. I'm pretty careful about it, but I can tell that they dulled though.
Yeah. Is there a specific one that you feel? Is it
I use the big boy a lot.
The chef knife?
Yep, I use that one a lot.
And then, do the shears get used?
This one, they do actually. Yeah, the shears get used pretty much. That's probably second in line as far as what we use. We actually had a smaller version of this one.
Oh, the trimmer.
That's disappeared.
Kind of grew legs and walked away, or
it did.
at a party
I think it found itself probably inside a pizza box that got thrown away.
Okay.
So, kids.
Do you have a few children?
We do.
They're at that age of sports and trying to do everything they can, or they still
we have an 18-year-old, so he's on his way out, and then we have a 4-year-old that he just got in, so pretty much. So.
What's your son's name?
Alex is the older one, and Aiden is the younger one.
Very cool. 18, going to college, or kind of?
He is. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Arizona State?
No, he's going to UVI.
Okay. Yeah, they had a little run in the tourney. I don't know if you follow NCAA basketball, but
a little bit, yeah.
So yeah, what we like to do is touch them up and then just give them a quick polish. It's good to sometimes actually soak them in vinegar. I don't know if you have any vinegar to kind of re-shine them up a little bit.
Okay.
And then this is something that just kind of, it's an obvious, but if you put them in upside down, it does actually prevent the block from kind of getting these little lines in here. I don't know if you noticed that.
Okay.
And then it's so minimal, but it will actually keep them sharper a little bit longer as well. So. But overall, you and Tracy pretty happy that you guys got the knives? And
oh, yeah. Yeah, I like them.
Did I meet you at the show, or was it just her?
No, just her.
She was out having a fun Woman's Day afternoon there? Mm-hmm. Is she going to be able to make it, or is she out and about?
She should be on the way. She had to go pick up our younger one, so depending on whether or not they make a stop. Yeah, she may be here.
Cool. So what's fun to do in Millstadt?
It's a small town. Not too much to do in Millstadt, I guess, but
a lot of families kind of did what you guys did, kind of stayed local and just kind of.
Her family's lived here for, a couple generations, I think, for the most part. All of her aunts and uncles live here. Her mom lives here, so
cool. And she was mentioning that you travel because we tried to do an appointment about a week ago. Are you in business for yourself? Or
no, I work for Homeland Security, so
really?
I'm out and about all the time.
So if you tell me exactly what you did, you'd have to kill me, right?
No,
Is it the mapping? Is it part of the mapping? I know that in Arnold or Festus, there's a kind of a mapping agency that does have some kind of governmental.
Yeah, no, we actually do all the firearms training.
Oh, really?
The commercial airline pilots.
Cool.
That can carry weapons now. So we have 26 training sites across the country, and I oversee 13 of them. So,
that's awesome.
So I do a lot of West Coast and DC stuff.
Would that be under a form of FBI, CIA, or it's its own kind of?
No,
bureau?
It's under DHS.
Okay.
Yeah, it's actually under the Federal Air Marshal Service, but they fall under DHS, so it's all in the Department of Homeland Security.
Would your pay have been affected if we had the kind of lockdown and shutdown?
Not this year. We're pretty much good for working on a continuing resolution, but the little program that I work on, we're funded pretty well. But
cool.
Eventually, I'm sure.
Well, a lot of government jobs and positions would have been kind of hurt by that. So.
Absolutely, yeah.
Did you start as like in the police academy or in the service?
Yeah. Just a local copper, actually. 10, 11 years ago. And then I got into the federal system, and the rest is history. So I've been doing that particular program we're on our 9th year. So it's kept me busy here.
Is Lambert? I mean, I'm sure all airports in a way have their different levels of threat, but is Lambert a pretty safe airport overall? Like,
I mean, it's not really a big city type airport, but
Sure.
I mean, there's threats everywhere, I guess. It isn't like LaGuardia or DC or something, but you never know. Never know.
you got a lot of young guys trying to get in what you do, or is it people that have?
The program that I work on, most of the guys that we train, these airline pilots, they're older guys. They've been pilots for 20 or 30 years. But I'm by far the youngest guy that I work with. But all of our instructors, by mandate, are retired federal agents.
Okay.
So there's guys that are literally twice my age that work for me, which is kind of an odd thing. But yeah, I think the closest that I'm 35, and I think my next closest coworker is 45.
Okay.
So,
Did you actually? Were you still a cop like when 9/11 happened then?
that's right when I went to the federal system.
Okay.
I went to work for the air marshals right after that.
Very cool. Yeah, that's one thing I enjoy about doing this job, because I went to college for just a year and that wasn't really my calling. I apologize if I ask a lot of questions.
No, not at all.
I like to learn, and my customers are friends and clients and people that I service and work with every few years. So that's awesome. Yeah, we need people like you in protecting our aviation and so much more. Are you just a branch of the big umbrella then? Like, is there?
Yeah, we're a very small part of all the training that goes on as far as homeland security is related. We only have, the actual number of pilots that actively carry weapons is technically classified, but it's a very small percentage compared to how many pilots there actually are.
Sure.
But yeah, so we're pretty small. We get about a $10 million a year budget, which is tiny compared to some other contracts. But we have 26 cities that we train out of, so it's good enough. It keeps me busy, that's for sure.
So you sharpshooter, or do you do any things with a handgun or a 45?
It's all handgun.
Okay.
Yeah, it's all pistol. It's all the same weapon.
You ever watch that show? I think.
Top Shot?
Yeah,
Yeah. It's pretty neat.
Yeah, they have a few retired cops and stuff
Sure.
that do pretty well. So
They had a Homeland Security agent on there last time.
how'd he do?
He didn't win. He got eliminated. I didn't see who actually ended up winning, but he was good. They have some of those guys are just unbelievably good.
So being out this way, Millsite you would consider a rural in a ways, right?
Sure.
You a big hunter or fisherman, or
I'm not.
no?
No.
Is that kind of like
I'm not a
an
hunter.
outcast for out this way?
Oh yeah.
Yeah?
Yeah. Well, I didn't grow up here. So
Okay.
Unlike my wife, I grew up a lot closer to St. Louis, so I'm more of a.
City boy?
I think I'm more of a city boy.
What part of town were you from?
I actually lived right across the river. Now.
Oakville?
I wouldn't even. No, I lived in Cahokia, which I wouldn't even drive down there in the daytime now.
Times have changed.
Oh, good lord.
Yeah, I actually just drove through there to get to Belleville last week.
Oh man.
And every corner there's a used car lot. Is that just?
It was completely different when I was a kid. When I was a kid, I lived right by the city park, and we would go fishing every day, and you could stay out till the streetlights came on. Now, I wouldn't go down there armed in the daytime. So.
Yeah, times change. I had a customer who actually lived in East St. Louis when it was like the place to live back in the day. Because there used to be probably you growing up on this side, that probably was just another suburb to go and hang out with people.
Well, even when I was in high school, that was a place you never go.
Really?
Yeah,
So
because
maybe
that was even. I was in high school in the '90s. So.
Yeah, you're only 35, so
yeah. So it was bad even by then, But I think back in the '60s it was okay, but that was well before my time.
Maybe my customer was probably in their 50s or 60s. Then I should have filtered that thought. But yeah, you got a nice spread out kind of cooking area here. Is this kind of where you prep or over there, or kind of whatever's needed to be cut and cooked?
Yeah, usually I do it all right there.
So have you always just enjoyed taking over more of the cooking and prep, or is Tracy help out, or she have
Tracy